Hi everyone, Lovely Ruth here with another video. I hope everybody's having a good day. Today is June, summer of 2022. Um, Yay! It's a good day today. It's been busy for me. I've been online all morning trying to set up some stuff. And I was um, thinking about talking about um, not giving up on your dreams. That's what we want to talk about today. It's been a minute since I talked to a friend that just called me, and he was asking me about how I was doing, and what was going on with me and everything. And I announced that I had quit my job. And you guys are going to get so tired of me saying I quit my job, but that's the reality of things. And it's a shocker. I mean, for most people, that especially people that I've worked with or have known for so many years, and they know that's all I knew. That's what I was about, working at that company and maintaining, hanging in there when everybody else didn't show up or quit or left or whatever. And I was I was there. I was the practically the spokesperson. I mean, my customers loved me. The environment was well. It was a good job until it wasn't a good job. I mean, it wasn't the job per se. It was the um, actually you reaching that milestone, that glass ceiling. And then when you get to that point, nothing or no one can stop you from moving on, moving forward, if that is what you're inclined to do. And so that goes back to me in the subject of don't give up on your dreams. I mentioned in an earlier video on how I had these dreams. When you have childhood dreams and things that you used to think about all the time, no matter what, um, and you just dreamt about that one thing or two, whatever, how many things that you used to dream about, but this one particular dream or vision that you had for your life when you got older, those things come um, later on in life, especially if you have a passion for a certain idea or way that you wanted to live when you got older. And I remember I had one dream of marrying Eldebarge. That was my group. The DeBarges, that was my, when you're young and you have your room and you have these posters of your favorite group, and you have their CDs and any magazine that had their face on it. We was magazine folks back then, not internet folks. But of course I shared rooms with my sisters. So it's like I had this little bitty space in my space. I had my little posters, and I had my fantasy of marrying this man. I mean, I just loved me some Elder Barge and all of his brothers. It was just beautiful people. It was like that was a beautiful family. Uh, but I had that fantasy, and then I had this fantasy of winning a beauty pageant. Of course, we all want to be. I thought I did. I When I was little, I didn't think I was cute at all. I thought I was like the average. I didn't think I was a looker, so I wasn't even worried about none of that stuff when I was young. I know I used to say I want my own room. I want my own place. At this point, I don't want to fool with anybody. It was like the family was so huge. I had a whole lot of brothers, a whole lot of sisters. So it was like I just got lost. I really got lost in, my headphone set and my music. And um, I used to get everything handed me down because there was so many of us. I had three sisters older than me, so we got hand me down. When my sister grew out of something, I grew into it. It was like everything was hand me down or donated or secondhand sometimes. Like you I was just all over the place, but we weren't poor. I don't think we were poor. I never viewed us as poor. I just think that my mom was economically looking out for her family. And yeah, we got new clothes, we got, new toys, and it was an adventure. But I can recall, for me, I can recall sometimes my mom would get very new clothing from friends and churches and stuff. And I remember back then it was like I remember getting I remember sitting in the living room and we would get these bags of clothes, right? And we would sit and go through, oh, I could wear this, or you could, it was like we was picking out, the clothing, picking through the clothing, and it was like I had it's like me, I would wait till everybody, go through what they wanted. I mean, these clothes was good. I mean, good clothing. I mean, like, you know, nobody wore 'em. That's what I'm saying. So, I remember having a pair of Levi jeans that were so perfect for me. I remember that so well. And then I remember a couple of t-shirts or maybe even a dress or a skirt or something that I would, you know, be fun to wear, fond of rather. And all through life, it was like we were budgeting or we were on, it was a limit we were giving to buy our school uniforms or gym uniforms. We used to have gym uniforms back then. My mom used to have to go to the store and buy, pick our size. I don't know if anybody remember the little stripy navy blue top and then the navy blue shorts, or you can get the black shorts or whatever for a gym. And we used to have to change from our clothes to the gym outfits. And I remember every year my mom would have to go buy us some, and we were all stair step in ages. So just imagine the woman having to buy these things. My mama didn't work. My dad would give her the money to, you know, to create or make sure we had everything we need. And so, yeah, I remember the uniforms. I remember we're having to have tennis shoes and socks and all these things. And of course, there was my brother. So it's like, oh, let me tell you, if I didn't tell you, it was 5 girls and 8 boys. So you do the math on the clothing thing. So anyway, hand me downs, sharing the rooms. Let's see. Of course, the chores. I got to admit that I didn't do much when I don't recall doing anything. I don't recall doing chores. I don't recall having to cook, having to clean up. I was just a spoiled child, and I, God, I think that's why my mentality when I grew bigger, when I grew older, my mentality was resale. Resale shops. I mean, I would love to go to vintage resale shops and buy. It's amazing what you find in those resale shops. So I went to this one. It wasn't a Goodwill or anything, but it was out in River Oaks, and it had the most extraordinary clothes. I mean, it had so many different variety of tops and bottoms and skirts and jackets and suits and all these other things that you wouldn't find in the neighborhood. Or it's like people would not like their Christmas present or the clothing somebody gave them, and they look at them and they'll fold them right up and donate it. Those are the kind of clothes that I was finding, like beautiful, beautiful blouses for work. And it was like they were like $2 back then, $1.50, sometimes 75 cents. But now they, of course, increased. I hadn't been in a long, long, long time. But my mentality was, you know, spending a whole lot of money on a fabulous dress that costs $80. Imagine me taking that same $80 and getting close to 50 items for that same amount of money. It made sense to me to do the lesser. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up with that. I grew up with that that feeling of I had a lot. I had a lot. I don't recall ever, and I'm not bragging about this, ever needing anything other than attention. I think that I was asked. I found this psychiatrist. Well, not a psychiatrist, but I was on YouTube and I found this famous. She's I forgot what she is, but I think she's a psychiatrist. Um, she was saying it was a webinar or something. I don't know where I found that. I'll get the name and I'll put it down. And she was saying that you need to reach back in order to see why you're living the way you're living. You have to reach back into your childhood, um, and try to remember what it was that made you who you are, or made you the way you are. Like, it's some people that have a habit, can't get along with people, or people that can't stand in relationships, people who are, you know they have these different aspects of their lives, and they don't understand why they're like they are. But she said reach back into your she's a hypnos not she hypnotized people. And she said you'll reach back and find out what was it that you are burying, or you are not bringing to life, bringing to surface, bring it to the surface. And so I did that exercise one day, and I realized that in my childhood, there was so many of us. When my sisters and my brothers was out playing, I was in my room, and I was either watching TV or reading magazines or listening to my music. I was in my own little fantasy world. I think the only interaction that I had with my brothers and sisters is occasionally we're at picnics or at the park, the whole family or something, or everybody playing baseball in the front yard, and maybe sometimes I would go out there and watch them or cheer them on or whatever. But I was by myself the most majority of the time. If my dad was nowhere around, I didn't want to be around. He worked a lot. When he came in, I'm the first person he saw him crawling up in the chair and trying to reach over into his lunch kit. They used to call them lunch bags, lunch kits, and get his leftovers or get his whatever he put his hands on that day. And I would they told me that everywhere he went, I wanted to go. When he get in the car to go to the store or go wherever, I'm crying to go with him. So I had this good rapport with my dad. So I was a dad's girl. I was. And then I remember um that I just was antisociable with my brothers and sisters. Maybe that's why we don't deal with each other right now, because I remember not playing with them. I don't know if they didn't want me to play with them, or I was too prissy, or you know my parents was overprotective of me or whatever. I don't know, but all I recall is me 5 years old and not, I mean, I was constant, when I look back at it, I was constantly alone by myself the majority of the time, unless it was dinner, unless it was Saturday morning when we're all trying to watch one little black and white TV or little bitty TV with the little antenna. We were family at dinner time, and all these things. But when it came down to me actually being the tomboy, actually being out there playing, or actually being, outside with my friends. I think that came a little bit later on in life when I got a little older, when I became a teenager. Maybe I was more in tune with them. But I remember that part that I was by myself. And now that if I'm by myself, I learned how to live by myself and stay to myself due to the fact that I've always done it. And we don't realize what we did in our past is in our future as well. So we just gotta break that mindset that we are more than that. Even though we were, I wouldn't say I wasn't. I was deprived of playing with my brothers and sisters. It's just that I was not wanting to for some reason. For maybe in my past life, I was my own, you know, I was by myself. I didn't have any brothers and sisters or whatever. So all I know is I was a dad's girl. I do remember that. I remember all the hand-me-downs. I remember the toys. It's my baby brother. Was my baby brother, it was my younger sister, and then it was me. So I was third from the bottom, from the youngest to the oldest. I was the third child, but I was treated like I was, you know, first and last. So, in a sense to where, um, as I got older, it's like the more I became, I mean, like I'm talking about in my 30s and 40s, I became baby girl. You're the baby girl. But when I was that young, it was like all this stuff going on. And it was like every Christmas I didn't get the toy that came out. I had to get hand-me-downs. It's like I didn't ask for much. I asked for one thing, and I cried because I couldn't get it. I remember that. I don't want to discuss that. I cried like a newborn baby because I couldn't get that. And that's the story my mom told throughout everybody's every generation. She would tell that story about how I cried because I wanted this particular baby doll. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm not gonna mention it, but anyway, uh, I didn't get my easy bake oven. Not I used to for some strange reason I used to blame that on me having issues with cooking, not issues with cooking. It's just that now I had went into that stage where I desire to cook. I wanted to bake all the time. I took home economics. I love cooking, but it's not all everything that I love to do. I do love cooking and stuff, but I think it by me not having that easy bake oven, and I had a sour taste in my mouth about, that was me saying, why they get the Barbie dolls, the pretty Barbie dolls, or why they get to get an easy bake oven, and then I couldn't get an easy bake oven because your sister already had one, use it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like sort of like, you know, hey baby girl, it's already one in the garage. Go get it, And I really didn't ask for much, but it was some brand name toys that I really wanted. And maybe I got them every once in a while, but I do remember that baby doll, and I do remember that easy bake oven. And it was some other thing that I just did not get, and I had a complete meltdown about. And I remember that easy bake oven because even when my daughter was growing up, I got her one. And I say, what in the world was I thinking? Because it's a light in there and it'll burn the crap out of you. So it's like it's different. It's different now. So but the things that we look back on, I mean, if you take the time to try to remember, I know you're not going to remember past 5, but if you could try to go all the way back when you were tiny and try to think of some of those things that you really had a problem with, or you had it in your mind that you deserve better, or whatever. Those things are the things that come into your life and you don't realize why you're like that, or why do you do the things that you do the way that you do them. So yeah, yeah. So and as I did grow up and age, got older, teenagers and everything, the sister before me made it so hard for me. I mean, this girl here, it's like anything she did, my parents looked at me and said, not you, not today. You know, I couldn't do it. I couldn't date. I mean, you're not supposed to date when you're a teenager, but I couldn't have boyfriends. I couldn't go out. You talking about football games and stuff like that? Oh no, not me. Nope. It was always the little. Um, I'll go in there and ask my mom, could I go to my friend's house? My girlfriend, so she was my best friend, and she said, go ask your dad. I said, okay, all right. Go ask my dad. He's sitting there watching baseball. Daddy, can I go over to Sean's house? I'll be right back. Go on, go on, no, go and ask your mom. You know, I don't have nothing to do with that. You go ask her and she say, yeah, that's fine with me. Go back in there and ask my mama. Daddy said I can go. Can I go? No, girl, get out of my face. No. Who will walk you around now? What? No, no. And it was back and forth, back and forth. And I finally got one of my brothers and sisters to take me around there and come pick me up or whatever. I mean, it was just in walking distance, but I was so restricted. I don't know if any of my brothers and sisters are watching this, but it was like I was so restricted. I couldn't do too much of anything. So you know when a kid can't do much of anything when they grow older and able to do those things, what they're gonna do? They're gonna be buck wild. But I never did that. Never disrespected my mom. Them. I never, I don't remember when I had sex. I was pretty old when I even tried to experience sex. So it was like I was a good kid. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was good. I was a good kid. As far as my mind was concerned, I was the innocent one. I didn't do no wrong. I was always yes ma'am, no ma'am. It was like it was like I was just I was a hidden jewel. It was like I was in the background, so to speak, because all of my troublesome brothers and sisters at that time, it was like they were dealing with that, and I was like, um, not the problem child, so I didn't get that much attention. You know what I'm saying? What did I have to do? Break something to get the attention? So I was like, okay, let them, you know, no, I had to put my focus and my energy towards me going to college. I wanted to go to college. My dream was to get this dream job in a retail shop or own a retail shop, and uh, the volunteer thing, the center that I wanted to open for young teens. I dreamt about that. I had this fantasy of, of course, marrying Elder Barge. Um, And it's just that I start focusing on the things that I wanted when I got older. That I wanted to be beautiful and, you know, have this perfect body and, you know, it was just crazy. We kids, we young girls dream about long hair and fingernails and the perfect clothing, and we want those things because we saw those things in the magazine. So yeah, yeah, Yep, that's where I was. But I fought for my dad's attention. I remember that. And as I got older, um, I got closer and closer to my dad. My dad was my guy. He was my number one guy. He always protected me. When I did start dating, and if I remember this one time I got caught out with my kid's dad. That's who I was dating. Got caught out in a storm, and you know it floods in Houston. And I will take this to my grave. Nothing happened between us. We wasn't doing anything. It's just that we got caught out on the southwest side at his brother's house and his brother's wife. We got caught over there because we was visiting, and on our way home, it started flooding, raining or whatever. So we had to stay there. We stayed there. I think we left that morning, 4 o'clock that morning, because I can't sleep at nobody's house. 4 o'clock that morning, he brought me home, and I went in my room, and I remember hearing my mom screaming, yelling, "She can't do this. She can't stay here like this, Frank. You gotta talk to her. I don't want to hear." Da 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 da. She was taking her anger out on me due to the fact that she did not want me to end up like the sister that was before me, and that's very understandable. And it was like, what did I do? And then you can't tell your mom that you didn't do anything because this woman had 13 kids. So her mentality is, I know you opened your legs. God forgive me. um she probably was thinking, "No, you can't fool me. You can fool your dad." But I promise you, I did not do anything. I didn't. It's just the fact that it was very disrespectful for me to come in the next day and I'm living under their roof, which is very, understandable. Like, no, and they were old fashioned. Oh, you didn't have no boyfriends. I mean, they were still old fashioned people that grew up. My mom grew up with, like, no, you can't do these things. I wasn't raised like that, and you can't do that in my house. If you get your own place, you can do that stuff in your own place. So it was kind of like I couldn't bring guys home. I remember when I was a little older and I used to date, and I would bring a guy home. I mean, I would bring them in to meet my parents, and I would always hear, after I go out my date and come back, I would always hear about, oh, that guy, oof, that guy is ugly or whatever. And it was like, for a long time, nobody. I used to think it was my dad. That's the thing. I used to think it was my dad that criticized my boyfriend, but it was, it was my mom. And because your dad don't want to see you with anybody anyway. So I thought it was my dad. And when my dad would, talk to me about the guys, but he wouldn't, I thought it was him. When I look back at it, I thought it was him, but it was my mom that was the critical one. He was too. He would tell me what every now and again, and I don't know about that one, but I didn't date per se uh, good looking guys, I won't say. I mean, you know, you date who you kind of date. Now tell me if I'm wrong. You date how you feel you look. You know what I mean? I hope I'm saying this right. If you think if you think you're not good enough, or if you think you don't look good enough, or you think if you think lowly of yourself, you have low self-esteem, then you're gonna attract low self-esteem people, not so good looking people, but they can have the biggest heart. Can have the biggest heart. I mean, I dated some dudes, and I shouldn't say it like that, and it wasn't that many, but I dated some dudes that had the biggest heart. I mean, their heart was was out there. They were good people. I was in safe hands, and I uh, knew that their parents were good people. So it was like I had to prove that I wasn't like my sister before me. And in order to prove that, I had to not only prove that to my mom, I had to prove that to myself. So everything that I know she did, I did the opposite. I mean, I didn't open my legs to nobody. I didn't let people feel on me. I didn't never stayed out at overnight or late night, like that incident happened. And I didn't do everything that she did or amplified in her life for my mom and dad to be riled up. That I'm the one, I'm the next in line. So I'm gonna get the pressure from that. And I did. I got all the pressure from that. All the pressure from that. And I think after in my life, if you look at my life, in my childhood life, my baby sister and my baby brother was next, and they needed the attention, and they needed to understand where their place was and everything, and they would fight. All I can remember is they fighting all the time, rolling around, fighting. It was like mama just breaking them up all the time. And so I look to my left, I look at that, and I look to my right and look at all my older brothers and sisters, which was giving my mom, most of them was giving my mom hell on hot water, my mom and dad. And so it was like I was literally walking on eggshells. I did not want to make a move, or sudden something happening and my mom and dad had to focus on me. Lord forbid. And how long could you avoid that though? I remember everybody I remember my dad stopped working for some reason, had an accident, and he would always take all of my brothers and sisters to school. All of them had a ride to school. As far as I can remember, we never had to get on a yellow bus. We never had to ride a bus. But they would all get dropped off at school. Now, picked up, no, it's a different story. They walked home, but they would always get dropped off at school. Maybe it's because I need to know I'm taking you to school, or otherwise they wouldn't go to school. So I remember that. But when I got in, because my elementary was around the corner, of course we walked. But when I got in middle school, my middle school was wasn't way across town, but it was a walking distance. It was like you had to cut some corners, cross some busy streets, and everything else to get to that school. And I remember every day I would have to watch. I said, "Why did Daddy stop taking us to school? Why when it came down to me, we don't get the free rides to school anymore?" And so I had to walk. And I remember my brother before me, he would walk with me until he dropped out of school. I think he stopped going to school for some reason. I don't know. He just didn't like school or something. I don't know. But I remember having to walk by myself every morning, like, and I love school. You're not gonna make me miss school. I love me some school. Got to be there on time. Got to be in the front. I have to, that was it. My books in my hand and everything else um in my hand. So yeah, but I had to. I had no choice. I had no choice but to do that. And I remember one morning the guy down the street, one of the was a guy. He was had to be in high school, and I'm in middle school at the time, and he drove this motorcycle. So he said he caught me going around the corner. He said, "You want I give you a ride? I give you a ride." I said, "No, I can't ride on no motorcycle. I give you a ride." So I said, "Okay, I'm running late." I got on the back of the motorcycle. We this is back in 1980, 1979 could be. Hey, I was in the 10th grade, 79 somewhere up in there. Oh, I just told my age. Well, I'm 57. Everybody knows that. But I got on that motorcycle and we were like a block away from that school, and the police pulled us over. And I was like laughing. I was like, "Oh my God, that what just happened?" And smiling the way I smile. And the police thought the cop said, "Oh, she okay, you're supposed to be in school. What are you on this motorcycle for?" And the guy had his helmet on and everything, but he wasn't a bad person. He was a good dude. He wasn't trying to hurt me or anything. But I figured, like, what is the police? I'm like, why is the police pulling us over? At the time, the guy thought I was joyriding. That's what he wrote the ticket. I'm joyriding. And it didn't have a helmet on. Of course, you could say, "Oh, she riding without a helmet." He wrote on the ticket, "Joyride." So when I got the ticket and I had to take the ticket home to my mom and my dad, oh my God. Mm, you talking about popos. My mom and dad turned it to popos. So I remember going to the police station. I know I'm making this long. I went to the police station and they passed me by all these people that was in juvenile, and I had to see these kids in there, and it was like, oh my God, I was so scared, when it went in there and plead the ticket or whatever. And my mama was livid. Oh, I didn't hear the end of that. I was punished. I didn't get a whooping because I don't think she whooped me. I don't ever recall getting a whooping. Maybe I was spoiled. I don't remember. If I was, my brothers and sisters would tell me, "Hey, yeah, you used to get whoopings just like us." And I remember all the horrific uh, things they said about when Mama whooped us. Ooh. But I didn't. I do not. Maybe I suppressed that. I didn't. I do not recall ever getting a whooping. So that was that. But I did get punished. I got things taken away from me. I didn't have that free to go card for a long, long time. And I better not get in anybody's car or anybody's motorcycle from that point on. And I think that's why I don't like motorcycles as much as I should. I can't stand motorcycles. I mean, I admire them. I think they're cute, but I don't like people on them, and I don't like to see people on them. And I do not. I would not get on one ever, ever. And that's not the only reason why, but I won't. And that was that. But everything else, I had to really watch what I do, what I say, who I date. You know, it was like I was under that umbrella, like, you better not mess up. So I remember after that, I met a friend of my brother's, and he didn't want me with that particular guy, dating that particular guy, because his friends was kind of cute back then when we was like out of almost out of school. Yeah, we were out of school then. Uh, and he didn't want me with that particular guy, so he hooked me up with my kid's dad, which was a big, big, big mistake. Big mistake. I got to get into that on another subject, but when I met him and started dating him, and then moved out of the house and moved in with him and started having my kids, quit college, and long story short, worked all my life from that point on, and just to raise my kids and get them out the house. And now it's time to live for myself. It's time when I so selfish. Don't ever say that. It's time to start directing my life towards my dreams. Thus, the subject, never let go of your dreams. It's always good to recall what you always dreamed of doing, always dreamed of having. And it's never too late to have those things. Um, but yes, I'm, I think that I am going to pursue my dreams now. It's like I have all the time in the world to do so. And it was so funny. It's so funny how you look back at when you were younger and recall all the things that you went through, and some of the things that ain't even half of what I would like to tell you, but it would take all night to tell you the rest. But if you look back at all the things that developed you into who you are, the mindset, the religious mindset, like we went to church all the time, Bible um what you call that, the summer study Bible school, um always in church. Not all of us, the majority of us. I mean, when we were young, we all had to go to church, but as you get older, you drop it off, and mama can't, she can make you go to church, but by the time she try to make you go to church, all her energy is gone. So I remember going to church with her until she couldn't go anymore. So yeah, I was in church, grew up with the religious type, Bible based. I mean, yeah, religious. And our mindsets are to, it's some things that, we grew up thinking we should do or we should know, but they're not the right things. Our parents were lovely. beautiful parents. They taught us what they knew, or how they was raised. And however, that doesn't get you through life, because life evolves, things evolve, and things change. When things change, you have to change. Your mindset have to change. Your body gonna change. Your atmosphere gonna change. The people around you gonna change. So you have to change. You cannot stay in a mindset that you had when you were 5, 6, 7 years old, even a teenager. Because guess what? You have to develop. Your mind is developing. Your culture and the things around you develops, and you have that one set mind, that one way mindset. You can't grow with that. So yeah, yeah, that's where I am. I had to examine that. I had to understand why. you know I'm it's in the back, out of sight, don't want the attention on me, or at work, and everybody go to lunch, and I want to stay here and eat my lunch, or in church, and not being able to get into cliques. I will not get into cliques. I am not going to get into a group of people who I have to conform to. I'm not going to do that. I'm not a follower. I'm a leader. And that's what I've always told myself. I'm a leader. I'm not a follower. If I have to follow somebody, that means I'm not talking about on social media. I mean, you could do what you want to do, but if I follow somebody, like if I let people tell me what to do, that means I don't have any of substance for myself. That means I'm so empty that I have to have people to fulfill me, and I just do not follow. I mean, it's like I'm waiting to be fulfilled or filled up by what you know or what you think. It's okay to have mentors. I'm not saying that mentors are good. I dream to be a mentor, you know, also. But as far as leadership, I'm a leader. I may not have too much to teach people, or maybe I don't have anything to teach people as far as what they already know or what they've already seen somewhere else. But I know that I can't follow someone who does not even um inspire me. If you're, in other words, if you're in if your life is not calling out or speaking to people, or it's like, why would I follow that? Why would wouldn't I want to soar with the eagles? Wouldn't I want to hang out with the millionaires because I want to be a millionaire? Wouldn't I want to um take a class that's going to benefit me, instead of like keeping me in this box? Or even your education have to be renewed. Sometimes you have to go back to college, or when I go back to college, we can't afford that, but go learn new things, learn new things, put new things in your mind, so you can have a better outlook of things, a modern day evolved outlook of things. So you do have to, broaden your horizon with education. But as far as being in cliques and um no, mm-mm, no. So, said all this, say this: follow your dreams. I know we all have dreams. We had dreams when we were tiny. So, think back and think about what you used to do or what you used to have, and find out find out if that's an issue with your life right now or today, and try to resolve that. Try to think on it. We can't stay on medication all our lives. Sometimes we have to. We have no choice. But some things we can um look upon, because there's a lot of things we don't want to face. It's a lot of things we don't want to tell ourselves, or especially if we were touched when we were little, or something happened that it can't even come out of us. um or and we bury it deep down inside, but we suppress it. The more we suppress it, we act it out in other ways. So we're not hiding anything, especially from God. We're not hiding anything. What happened to us, or what happened to us, we allow because of what happened to us, if you catch my drift. So it's no easy way. I mean, it's hard, it's not easy, but you got to start somewhere. You got to take care of yourself, take care of your mind, take care of your body. Um, and I hope and pray that everybody had a good childhood. Everybody didn't. There's some things that um, I can't. I won't talk about. I know it, but I won't. You know, verbally come out and say things that happened to me. I mean, it wasn't no bad things, but things that happen to me, some things you can't give away, give to somebody, because you are then creating a problem again, because you're just, how did this go? You're opening up yourself to somebody who can't help you. Uh, it's not going to benefit you. Talk to God. Half of the stuff that I went through or going through or think about or come back to me, I talk to God about it, because nothing happens to you that God, you know, don't know about, or he wasn't there. He was there. He knew your assignment, so he knew. So you still survived it. So it's a matter of you um looking back on it, facing it, dealing with it. Don't wait till it get too bad to where it's tearing you up, and it's reflecting on you and onto somebody else. So yeah, they call me Gotti. Let me tell you why. They one of my niece called me Gotti. Let me tell you why. Because she think I'm a bad, you know what, she think like, oh, she don't play. A Gotti is from a movie or a show or something, that this gangster or whatever, the mob, the, yeah, the mafia, and she called me Gotti. I'm like, I'm not that mean. I don't recall being mean to people or gangster like to people, but I must have took on that persona somewhere, some way, somehow. She saw that I don't play. You know, my response level is like, ooh, like, but that I'm not a bad person. I don't go around hurting people or fighting people or anything, but the image she got of me, and some people may have a means that I don't play. I honestly have to say, I gotta stop blaming my mom for these things. I gotta say that my mean mug and my mean interior came from my mom. That's on my mom's side. These jaws and these cheekbones is that's from my mom's side. And my mom didn't play, especially in church. She didn't play with you. She didn't play with her kids, because I out of respect, I respect the fact that if you start playing with people, grinning with people a lot, they tend to take advantage of your niceness. And maybe she didn't want that. I play with you, I agree with you, but that, don't take it the wrong way. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm still who I am. But I'm not guy. I don't know where she get that from, but I don't know why she called me that. But that's what she called me, Gotti. But anyways, my mom was good. My mom was a good person. She just had that look about her, like, I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing. She had too many kids to attend to, so she had to keep it together. She, for one, had to keep it together. The dads get off scot, well, not nowadays. Got the dads just get off scot free. I'm working and bringing home the bacon, so I can come home and enjoy a beer and watch my baseball game. So what else do you want me to do? So he was a good dad. I love my dad. But anyway, Don't lose sight of your dreams. There's always something that you can do to make your life good. Make your life like, I accomplished that. I accomplished that dream. Check it off the list. You might be just living in your glory. Maybe you live in the life that you've always wanted. Right now, maybe it's coming. Who knows? But live your best life right now if you can. I mean, enjoy what you have. Enjoy your circumstances. Make your circumstances um, how you want them to be. It's your call. So okay, I enjoyed talking to you guys and hanging out with you guys, and I would love to hear from you. Please comment, like, or just or thumbs up, or however they say it on YouTube. Subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the later one. I hope you had a good evening. Well, let me say this right. I'm rushing myself. I hope you had a good day, and I hope you have a better evening. All right. Bye.